music was God's destiny for me, period. Like, music was God's destiny for me. I didn't have a choice. He gave me the gift of it, that's it, and I have to take that seriously. Music was one of my main realizations that God exists, because delivering me from drug use, being shown forgiveness by mentors that I turned my back on and didn't take their work nor their guidance seriously. It's like, as I said, music was the basis for all of that. And that was God's redemptive power in my life. Literally, hey, music was the base for all of this. Now here I am, and recognize that that's what I used for you to show me who I am. When I first started teaching, I got my first private student my sophomore year at Loyola University, which I didn't want. There's an opportunity for you to start teaching this coming fall at a community center in the Lower Ninth Ward. I began teaching at the Lower Ninth Ward that fall, and I just fell in love with those kids. I was there for 3 years, and I've had some of the strongest relationships I've had with people have come from that. In June of last year, I got a phone call telling me about an opening at a school called Pride College Prep. They were looking for a music teacher. There was one of two. The first spot had been filled. I talked to my mentor about it, and he kind of said, hey, go for it. It's an opportunity to give back. This city is kind of forgotten about, in a sense. Everybody knows about it, but it's not known for the right reasons. On last Monday, somebody let off 17 shots from an AK-47 right around my corner. But right next door, there's kids that are growing up there. And this is what they see. This is normalized to them. They don't have any conceptualization that this is not the way that life is supposed to be. Growing up, your childhood is literally, evicted from you before you even know that it exists. We oftentimes glamorize the nonprofit sector, missionary work as a whole, from an international perspective, which is good. I've fallen victim, or that's something that I've fallen for myself. Working in Haiti, doing some work in Haiti, doing some work in Kingston, Jamaica. I've always been like, oh man, I have to travel overseas because these people have nothing, which is very true. God does call us, once we get the gospel, we are called to go to all corners of the earth. That is 100%. But we also have to make a conscious effort to not turn a blind eye to what's going on here. I have friends where there's kids that are 15 that are on the third grade reading level. I have students who are 11 and 12 years old in my class, while I'm sitting there watching them take these standardized tests. I'm proctoring their test. I can't talk to them because it's illegal for me to do it, but they can barely spell their name correctly. That's because they don't have any figures in their life that are instilling in them the importance of education and showing them a balanced perspective for what it can do for your life, right? People think college and they maybe think sports. That's the reason why I may go to school. There's nobody telling them that you can literally do whatever you want to. And one of the main keys to that is getting a solid, balanced, holistic education. This is not pretty, it's not pretty work, but there's joy behind it because God is using you to literally transform lives. It's not for our own good, but before we can do that, we have to get out of our comfort zone and stop making it an us versus them, or these kids. I feel so bad for these kids. No, sit down and talk to them. Really get out there, volunteer on a consistent basis, because if you do something for a short term, all that's really gonna do is further instill in these kids' minds that they're gonna come and they're gonna leave just like that when the minute it gets hard, like everybody else does to them. Like a lot of their parents do, their uncles, any other figures that they have in their community. It's like, what can I get from you? Oh, this is a gratifying experience. I went and volunteered with these kids this Saturday, and you do it 5 years later, and you feel bad about yourself. I think that's when the transformation in this city is really going to happen, is when they get practical examples from a young age on how to live out the gospel. And I think that starts directly with us. This subject matter is not always the most glamorous to talk about. Sometimes you can get depressed or, oh man, this is so heavy right now. There's a lot of things that, to think about. To a point where you may not even want to deal with it. It's like, yo, I've dealt with this I've talked about it so long. I turn the news on. I don't want to deal with that anymore, because I just don't know what to do. I just feel like we don't know what to do. We don't know where to get started. But if we just join together, within the community that we have, and brainstorm, ideas, and partner up with other organizations in the community as a church. great things are going to happen. You know, conversations are happening with people inside the church community, in Vintage, all the churches that Vintage is partnering with, and you know, it's all across the city, across the state, all across the nation. So there definitely is hope. There's definitely great things to come if we, you know, just continue to have perseverance. My name is Samuel Phillips, and I'm a part of God's story.